As a defense contractor, you plan for all kinds of different contingencies with your business. And have you ever thought to yourself, what would I do if one of my employees were to be kidnapped or held for ransom in a foreign country? Does my DBA policy, Defense Base Act insurance, cover any of the expenses that I might incur? How do I get them out of country? How do I rectify such a seemingly insurmountable situation? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So as you probably already know, a DBA insurance policy exists to cover your employees while they're working for you in a foreign country because of a government contract that you've accepted. On most DBA insurance policies, there is an endorsement, or a fancy term for add-on coverage, that would extend liability coverage for one of the following three events, and those are kidnap, ransom, or extortion, wrongful detention, or hijacking. Now that's some heavy stuff right there, and we're going to kind of dissect what the policy is going to cover for you and where you might have some gaps in coverage if you're relying solely on the DBA policy to cover you in those situations. A typical limit of liability for an event like this might be somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 of coverage. You should know, however, that there may be sublimits in the $50,000 range. The policy will often also cover expenses that surround an event like what we're talking about today. Things like ransom monies that may have to be paid, consultant fees to figure out what your step 1, 2, and 3 is, and any court proceedings or defense costs that you may incur surrounding, again, a hijacking, a kidnap event, or some kind of a wrongful detention in a foreign country. An interesting fact, the policy will actually cover these type of events if it is an actual event or an alleged event. So if you can't fully prove that something has happened, the policy may provide you coverage depending on the specifics of your situation. So let's talk about the fine print, because there are exclusions and hard stops where the DBA policy won't extend coverage in certain situations. One of the most obvious ways that a policy would not cover you is if you or an employee tried to set up some sort of a fabricated kidnap ransom event in order to obtain coverage or payout from the insurance company. Other exclusions as it pertains to the wrongful detention portion of this would be if you or your employee did not heed very good advice or direction from our government saying that you should not be sending certain employees or people to regions of the world that are deemed extremely dangerous or in political unrest of some manner. Also, if an employee of yours was detained or arrested because of an actual law that they broke, this policy's probably not going to provide any sort of coverage to remove them from that situation if it was in fact because of their wrongdoing. With that in mind, let's talk about the scope a little bit more of and how the DBA policy will apply to your employees. One of the things that I hope you're thinking, and if you're not, it's a good question to consider: what happens if an employee were to be kidnapped while they're actually not performing work on my behalf, but they're living in the country that I've sent them to? The zone of special danger doctrine may very well be in play here as we discuss this type of event. And so we've actually done a much more in-depth look at the zone of special danger, and you can find that in the video that's linked here in the description and in the show notes. So if you're contracted to work in a very safe area of the world, the DBA policy probably won't provide coverage. On the flip side, if you had an employee that was working in Afghanistan, the zone of special danger may very well apply and activate if that employee was kidnapped or held for ransom or hijacked or any kind of wrongful detention during that period of time. So the big idea here to remember, the DBA policy is a good solution for when your employees are on the clock, and depending on where they are working in the world, it very well may extend during all hours of their stay. But how do we cover your employees if it's a safe area of the world and the zone of special danger is not in play? A lot of the companies that provide a DBA insurance solution will also provide a product that would cover the totality of your operations, both in human assets and others, while they're in foreign lands. You can purchase a policy that will cover your employees with regards to kidnap and ransom surrounding the hours of their workday. not just during the time when they're performing duties on your behalf. So the big takeaway here, your DBA insurance policy will provide some measure of coverage for you and your employees while they're working for you overseas, but we do recommend you pair that with a foreign or worldwide package so that you can ensure that you're better protecting all of your assets in different countries around the world. A tough topic all around, not the funnest video to work on here today, but an important one. And if you're in the defense contracting industry, we know that you take none of this lightly. For more information or to speak with myself or another agent in our office, our website and contact info will be listed in the show notes and description below. We've also created several other videos for you on the DBA insurance topic that will hopefully answer many of the questions that you have. On behalf of all of us here at Callahan & Rice Insurance Group, thanks for watching.